Disclaimer. To the Pharisees and Karens out there.
How dare you!
All guests on this show do not reflect the opinions of the host. The purpose of this show is to have interesting conversations, stretch our minds, and grow.
Not what we want!
If you are looking for an echo chamber, viewer and listener discretion
is advised.
You talk about extreme.
He was a Nez Perce Indian, and he had a Sumerian, Babylonian, tiny little tablet that he carried in his medicine bag. It wasn't anything special. They deciphered it. It was for the cell of a lamp, I think, in Babylon. And they asked him about it. Like, where did you get this? He goes, well, my white grandfathers brought this from another land. And this is from them. So he was talking about people coming over here from Babylon.
What is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we're about to fill it up.
All things continually lead back to serpents, dragons, fairies, Nephilim, and fallen angels.
In the distance looms a mystical mountain.
As Mike Heiser used to say, if it's in the Bible and it's weird, it's probably important.
At its peak, a great fire burns, concealing the Prometheus Lens.
This development of this knowledge that's being talked about within the mystery schools.
An ancient artifact said to reveal the hidden truth within a deliberately darkened world.
There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world.
Join us as we travel and explore the vast unknown. It's a hero's journey with dragons to slay, damsels to save, and innumerable treasures to hoard. Torches high.
The Smithsonian, they caught wind of a giant skeleton, would send their agents out to get it.
But it takes courage to move forward, to move out of the shadows, out of the unreality that we think of as reality.
We are all on the hero's journey.
Mankind has been in contact with and influenced by extraterrestrials.
Leave the Sitchin mound of bull feathers out of it.
You know, look at it from a different perspective.
Hey, what is happening and what is up? Hold out your glass, because we are about to fill it up. Welcome to the Prometheus Lens Podcast, the place where the conversations are always enlightening. I'm your host, Justin, and here we like to use the allegory of the Prometheus Lens to take a second look at everything. Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the hero's journey. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Down below, we'll have our socials on our various platforms. Be sure and check those out. That would be much appreciated. Well, I'm excited to come to you guys today. I'm excited every week, but especially excited when I get to sit down and talk with some of these authors that has inspired me and just cut my teeth reading their books and things like that. This is a guest that we had on the show. Actually, I think this man was probably my second guest on this show. So it's been a long time coming to get this man back on the show, but he has a new book out, and this new book is Ancient America, The Dark Side. I'd like to welcome back to the show Fritz Zimmerman. Fritz, thank you, man.
Thanks for having me back.
So you got a new project out, and so I know you had the Ancient America. What was the subtitle of that other book, the other one, Ancient America?
Well, there was the Mysteries of Ancient America series 1 and 2, and this isn't really part of that because it's dealing with a completely different topic. But this is more paranormal, associated with the ancient burial mound and earthwork sites. And then I unveil too a really big discovery of the earthwork sites of the Sun Temple, so that's exciting. That comes out in this book and is relevant come October 31st, because we're going to have a solar alignment at the giant Newark hinge And I'll be going down to Mounds State Park. I think the north end is going to line up with Samhain, which is October 31st, Samhain, the Celtic holiday. It's the solar opposite of May 1st, or Beltane. So I was at Newark in May of this year, and I got photographs of the sun rising on the gateway there at the Newark Henge. And I had been there last October and photographed it setting on the gateway. And that was actually better because the sun was so much bigger. And it seemed to take more time, to drift into that slot. So that's new, of these Beltane Samhain alignments. And then I believe Mount State Park in Anderson, there's a rectangular hinge there. And the measurements are right. It should align. So I'm going to go down there October 31st and get that, or the closest sunny day, which is what you're up against. But, the sun moves pretty slow. So if I get it October 30th because of the weather, it's going to be sunny on October 30th, or if it's even, November 1st or whatever, the alignment will still be there. So anyone out there in the Indiana area that want to go see that, that's going to be available. And just check and find out when the sunny day is going to happen, or a sunny afternoon where you're going to be able to see that alignment. So that's exciting, and certainly has more of the Celtic roots. The celebration of May 1st actually started with the Amorites, the account of giants in the Bible. So again, all roads lead to Babylon in the Ohio Valley. And this is just another case of that. Of course, the Celts would adopt this, and we would associate, Beltane and Samhain with them. However, it has much more ancient roots with the account of giants in the Bible. Of course, we all know how many giants are around these earthworks in Ohio. So same thing, same people.
Yeah, that's just amazing, especially, for those that's not checked out the films with L.A. Marzulli and Fritz. They tag teamed and went to a lot of these mounds and discussed a lot of these things. And it's an amazing journey. They talk about how, they theorize that during the conquest of Canaan, there was a great diaspora, and that these Phoenicians and these guys loaded up on these ships and took off to North America. And they align everything, man. Talk about everything from the copper mines and the Bronze Age technology, and then all these hinges and earthworks, all these solar alignments line up, that they paint a very beautiful picture and have lots of receipts for their theories. I found those films very fascinating.
Yeah, LA went into it with my theories, and interesting, that we touched on that. And, I go into more detail of Newark to understand who these ancient Amorites were. They were a people of mathematics, and mathematics was a religion to them. The mathematics and sacred geometry. And they believed that through sacred geometry, and this comes down to simple circles and squares, that if you could square a circle, this was like paramount in their religion, because that was symbolic of the sacred marriage, or the holy union between the sky god and the earth or lunar mother. And we find in Newark, and it's too bad we don't have a graphic up here for people that aren't familiar. And if you're not, just put in Newark earthworks and get the graphic up, where you're going to see a circle and an
I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, why don't you do that? That'd be easier for me to
I'll pull that
explain this. Okay, so some of you, if you're not familiar with the Newark, Ohio, not Jersey, earthworks, that circle and octagon, top left of the screen, you have an idea of the size of that. There is a regulation golf course in the middle of that. There's not one hole that is outside of that circle and octagon. So the circle is 1,050 feet in diameter. And if you make a square that's 1,050 feet, on each side, it'll nestle into that octagon there. But if you have that square, the area of the square within the octagon is equal to the area of the great henge, and that is your lower right, the circular earthwork with the two gateways coming out. And that is the earthwork that is aligned to May 1 sunrise and then the October 31st sunset. So if you stand outside of that gateway, you'll see the sun align perfectly on the gateway as it sets. So the octagon squared is the same area as the circle. The circular earthwork attached to the octagon is the same area as the square earthwork that's just adjacent to the circular henge. So those are squared circles within those. So those were all meant to represent this sacred marriage, where they believe that the spiritual can manifest into the physical. So there's something going on there with, our idea of Halloween, October 31st, where the veil of between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. No reason not to believe that they were practicing the exact same thing, and then the roots of Samhain were being there because of all of these squared circles. Now, the octagon, all of those gateways are aligned to lunar events. The moon does an 18.6 journey from north to south. Takes 18.6 years. So every one of those gateways is minimum northern moon set, maximum northern moon set, southern moon set, and there's bing bang, 8 of those. It's going to align within that gateway. The squaring of the circles, not only was it the area of the circles that they would being equal to the squares that they tried to achieve, but also the perimeter of a square to equal the circumference of a circle. And so the great henge is 3,700 feet in circumference. And the square is 925 feet per side. So 925 times 4 is 3,700 feet. So the circle and the square also represent the sacred marriage of opposites. And we don't have this graphic, but if you draw a line between the middle of the octagon and the middle of the square, the highest point of land around there is Geller Hill. And it is 7,600 feet from these earthworks. But if a line between the octagon, the middle of the octagon, and the middle of the square to Geller Hill makes a perfect isosceles triangle over a mile distance. So we know that they were doing surveying, and we know that the Amorites, when they controlled Babylon from roughly 2000 BC to 1600 BC, were super mathematicians. And one of the things they were using with this math was surveying land. So we know that they were using pi, square roots of numbers. They knew trigonometry. They knew the Pythagorean theorem. They knew all of that. And within these earthworks, which we don't have the graphic, but between the octagon and a north-south and between the circle, you do have a Pythagorean triangle that was laid out within these earthworks. You have an isosceles triangle going from the octagon to the circle, then over to Geller Hill. So we're showing not only advanced mathematics, but we're also showing surveying skills, all things that we would find in Babylon around 2000 to 1600 BC when the Amorites were there. So there's a lot going on at Newark than just some circles and squares, but digging deep and then finding the mathematics behind it, that this religion can be explained in Old World, but not necessarily in New World. So that's a lot.
I mean, that's just amazing because, I mean, when you think about it, you know, you see these amazing monuments and you're just like, you're baffled at the size of them. Like you said, that one, the octagon, it encapsulates an entire golf course. I mean, this thing is huge. And it's like, then you have to stop and ask yourself, why? I mean, this was a giant undertaking, and it's, you know, like have you explained, it's such precision and mathematics and geometry. And it's like, you know, you have to stop and ask why. This was important to them. And especially lining up with all these different places and with Beltane, you know, and Sam Juan or Wayne, or however you say that. Do you think that this was ritualistic? And if so, what were they trying to achieve, in your opinion?
Well, they were, you know, the sacred marriage is, you know, a big part of it. So very similar to what you would consider like a yin yang, you know, that perfect balance in nature. So they're representing that with circles and squares. So to have the squares and the circle being equally in both area and perimeters. That's what they were trying to achieve. And you have to understand also that when you're at the golf course and you're like outside looking at one of the walls of the octagon, I mean, way in the distance, you can see the other side and the other wall. But how did they check their work? Because these things were meant to be seen from the air, not necessarily the ground. I mean, granted, you can tell it's a circle attached to the octagon, but to have this symmetry, not only in that, just to throw another number out there, the circle attached to the octagon, and then the distance between that circle and then the great hinge is 6 times the diameter of the circle attached to the octagon. So 1,050 feet times 6 will put you in the middle of the great hinge. From the middle of the octagon times 1050 times 6 is the spacing to the square earthwork. So those were set out on, again, a mathematical formula of times 6. So they were both placed there. And then from Geller Hill, if you draw a line straight through the hinge and then straight through the octagon, I believe it's maximum moon set. So from 1.25 miles away, that line is perfect going through both of the middle of both of these earthworks. And another thing that is astounding on this, which I have no idea how they did this. You have the circle and you have the great hinge. The moon, you know, when you look in the sky, there's a big moon and there's a little moon. And that's called the apogee and the perigee of the moon. The ratio of the large moon and the small moon that you see in the sky is the same ratio of the difference between the great hinge and the circle attached to the octagon. It's identical. Now, how they did that, amongst everything else that's going on in this earthwork, you also have that. That's why those are the sizes that they are. So it's pretty incredible, just the mathematics and ratios and everything else that's going on within this earthwork complex. And I don't believe, you know, we know the Dakota Sioux or the Hopewell, we know that they were in the Ohio Valley, but I believe the mathematics came from Babylon. And this was executed within this geometric earthwork complex. And it also happens in other earthworks. At Hopeton, we have a circle and a square, and they're both 20 acres. So this isn't the only instance where this happens. There are other earthworks where they were circling, squaring a circle. Hi, this is Fritz Zimmerman. Join me October 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Prometheus Lens. We're going to have a Q&A about the ancient burial mounds in the Ohio Valley and paranormal investigations.
Hi everybody, I'm Chris Vick. I'm the founder of Squatch Survival Gear, and today I'm here to talk to you about some of our most popular packs. In 2017, I founded Squatch Survival Gear because I was tired of seeing low-quality, mass-produced packs flooding the American market. I decided I'd make a pack that was 100% designed and manufactured in the United States, and today I'm here to talk to you about some of our most popular packs. This is the Night Howler. It's designed for EDC and travelers. As you can see, it's small. It's roughly 10 by 12 inches. Designed for everyday carry. The pass-through pad allows you to put it on your luggage when you travel. This is the Rougarou. It's very civilianized, lots of attachment points. This is a 25-liter pack. We designed it for a little lighter load. If you need more than the Night Howler, you should try this. This is the Mothman, very similar to the Rougarou, roughly the same size, but it's designed for carrying a much heavier load. The removable waist belt will help you carry that extra load. You've also got your retaining strap if you're going to take that on a travel trip. This is the Kakamora. This would be your first 72-hour pack, as we used to say in the Army. It comes with an internal frame, totally adjustable straps, heavily padded. You can carry heavy loads, carry lots of gear. This is the Rock Ape. It's a 45-liter pack. Same internal frame, same great padded straps that you like, with a few extra features. If you're wondering what's with all the crazy names, well, that's because finding 100% American made is as hard as finding Bigfoot in the woods. When you're ready to carry our packs, contact us at squatchsurvivalgear.com or any of our social medias.
Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, I just got a call to action for you. If you're enjoying this episode at all, you're getting anything from it, please take the time to click that like button, click that share button, and share us with your friends and your family on social media. Those are great things that help us to grow the show and increase our listenership. And also, while you're here and I have your attention, flip over from the chat, go to the comment section. Just drop me a quick comment. Let me know where you're from, what you think of the episode. All these things help the algorithm and help the show. And if you're not on YouTube and you're listening on your favorite platform, please, if you've not done so already, give us a 5-star review. All of these things are great ways that you can contribute to the show that you love and listen to every single week. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Back to the episode. Hey guys, you found yourself at the end of the line, and this means that you're not an all-access pass holder, so I gotta play the Gandalf here and slam it down and say, you shall not pass. But hey, if you'd like to join us on the hero's journey and get the rest of this episode, and not only this episode, you get 48 hours early to every single episode in the future, and gain access to an entire library of members only content, access to the private Facebook community, and monthly Q&As with authors and speakers and researchers that I've had on the show. Head on over to PrometheusLensPodcast.com and sign up. It's quick, it's easy, and I'm only asking you to sacrifice a happy meal once a month. You're without an excuse. Homeless people come up with $5 to $10 a day for their addictions. Nobody's that hard up. Torch is high, guys.